Hello, welcome to the Quakes Motel. My name's Conan. In today's 101 video, I'm going to show you how to adjust the start and end points of your chops so that your sample is ready to be made into its own program. Let's jump in. Okay, so if you watch my previous 101 videos, you'll know how to chop your sample up. There's several different ways to do it, and I've demonstrated that. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to quickly chop up this sample, and then I'm going to show you how to adjust the start and end points. Now that's not particularly brilliant, but it doesn't matter because we can adjust the start and end points. Did I do that on purpose? Actually, no, I didn't. So I've chopped it up. We've got 16 there over 2 bars, so it's chopped into 8s. That's obviously the manual way of doing things. Now, with your Q links, if you've got an MPC 1 or a Live 2, you have to switch between the different functions. If you've got an X, you've got all 16 there. So if you hold down the Q link, it will show you what functions each knob is going to be assigned to. So you can have these to do the start points, the next one to do the end points, etc., etc. But I'm going to show you how I chop up. This is not a definitive way of chopping up, it's just how I do it. And over years of using the newer MPCs, it's just my refined workflow, I guess. Now I have it on number 4, which basically means that I can use this one down here to zoom in and out. And this one here, I believe, to select the different chops. Although to be honest with you, I tend to use the pad. Most importantly, it's the zoom in and out. Now, before you do any chopping work, it's better to hold down Shift and make sure that zero snap is on. By default, for some reason, it tends to be off. I have no idea why, because you almost always want to have zero snap on. What zero snap does, just very, very quickly, is it eliminates the chances of you having any pops and clicks. It doesn't completely eliminate it, but it helps. It basically makes sure that you can only chop on a point where the file crosses over at 0. Go and watch another video on it that'll explain in a bit more depth. Don't worry about it, just turn on zero snap. Take my word for it. So what we're going to do, or what I do, is first I will go through each individual chop and make sure that the start's in the right place. So as I said, this is my zoom. I've got it set to start here. Now you can zoom like this, you can zoom down here. I just prefer to have it set to a Q link. I just find it a lot quicker to go start end, use the data wheel and use that to zoom with. That's just how I find it quicker. That's just my workflow. So we're going to go through each individual one very, very quickly and we're going to find the start points. Now, obviously, number 1 is going to be in just the right place. Now I can already tell that number 2 is not. Now when you do this, make sure that link slices is on. And I'll explain when I do the next part, which is the end points. So we'll go through the starts. Now I did that very, very, very quickly. And the reason is I've just done it so many times that I can zip through it quite quickly. If you're new to this, it's going to take you a little bit longer. But that was me going through very, very quickly to get the start points. Now what I want to do now is I want to adjust the end points. Now this is where the link slices comes in. If you leave link slices on, let's go back to the first one and I want to adjust the end point of chop number 1, slice number 1, whatever you want to call it. If I have link slices on, when I adjust the end point here, it's going to adjust the start point of number 2. Now I don't want it to do that. So if I take link slices off, you can see that you can move the endpoint individually. Now, you might want to do that. It's entirely up to you. But the way that I chop things up, I don't tend to do that. So what I want to do now with the ends is I want to eliminate any kind of leftovers, any pops, any clicks, any kind of beginning of the next sound, the next drum sound, etc. Like, you can hear a little click in there. I don't really want that. Another little click there. Gone. That's fine. Now this one's a little bit different because you've got a bit of a, you've got a ghost kick. And then it goes into the hi-hat on the next one. So that's absolutely fine. Little click there. See, I'm using my ears and I'm just basically eliminating any clicks. I tend to do this with headphones on because even if your monitors are really, really good, you can sometimes miss tiny clicks. Any kind of surgical work, I will use headphones when I'm in the studio. So there we go. That's the endpoints all done. It's that simple. So now very, very clean, very, very quick. That's that chopped up. And what we would do now is we would then process that and make it into its own drum program. But that's going to be in the next 101 video. Now, this is a good way to do things if you want to take a sample and you want to use it in the kind of classic way where you have the different chops and you're playing it at different points. You know, you don't have to play it in order, so you chop it around. And this is a really, really good way to do that. It's also a really, really good way to get your sample to sit exactly on the grid, because obviously a lot of drummers would not have played in time in the olden days, or actually even in the modern days, even to a click, some drummers don't play in time. So you might want to tighten things up. That's especially useful for things like house music, where you want things to be really tight on the 4, on the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 on the floor rather. So they're the reasons why you might want to have really nice clean chops. But also, you know, you don't really want those little clicks and things like that. So that's how I would chop it up if I was going to be playing the sample in order or indifferent, but it kind of still keeps that flow. Now, so I would use manual and I would chop it up exactly how I've just shown you. Now, so let's clear all these now. Now, there are other situations, especially for instance, when you are chopping up breaks rather than just samples, where you might want to make your own drum kit, but you want to eliminate kind of any of the ambience. You just want tight sounds. So a really, really quick way to do that is, rather than do it in manual, go into threshold, go into the threshold level, and if you start bringing this down, you'll start seeing that the threshold will pick up on every single individual drum sound. And that's pretty much, I'd say that's almost there. Let's go back a little bit. Go back a little bit again. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty much there. It looks like number 2 hasn't really picked up very well. So what that's done is very, very quickly made you a drum kit out of all the individual sounds. You can then go in and do the same as what you did before. See, it's pretty decent. It's a lot more accurate than I was anyway. And then to the next bit. So that's made a drum kit for me there, basically. And then what I would want to do is just quickly trim things up a little bit. There you go. Really, really quick drum kit. Sorry, my finger drumming. So that's a really, really quick way using the threshold to basically make your own drum kits and separate up a breakbeat really, really quickly. So the next 101 video, obviously, I would then show you how to convert it into its own program. So there you have it, 101 on the final preparations for your sample chops before you make it into its own program. Very, very basic, very, very quick. It's not the definitive way. There are other ways to do it, but the two techniques that I showed are the two techniques which I tend to use for my samples or if I'm chopping up breaks and making my own drum kits. So thanks for watching. This is the Craig's Motel. My name's Conan. Till next time.